Ladies and gentlemen, hello there, and welcome to another edition of the 205 Live NXT UK recap show right here on FightfulSelect.com. I am Mr. Warren Hayes, and as it is tradition per usual, as the kids say, we're going to be talking about the top 3 hours of WWE programming. No, I'm not talking about Raw. I'm talking about, I've already, you know which ones we're talking about because you're already listening. Thank you all for joining me, whether it's here live, because I do these every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Gives everyone all the time required to watch 205 Live, NXT, grab the replay of NXT UK if needed. And now we're going to chit-chat about it. We're going to talk about it. Some good stuff. We're leading into TakeOver 25, which, by the way, I will be recapping alongside a pair of gentlemen that perhaps, as Fightful Select members, perhaps you've heard of. One guy named Alex Pulowski. He's a guy who has opinions about stuff. And another guy named Sean Michael Sapp. I don't know. He's new to the business. We're here at Fightful. We're giving him a shot. We'll see how things turn out for that kid. Yeah, we got big hopes for him. So that'll be immediately after TakeOver 25. But we're going to talk about NXT in a little bit. As you know, I like to talk if there's ever news items. Interesting things happening within the world of NXT or 205 Live or NXT UK. I like to talk about them before we start. There's a couple of little tidbits that popped up, such as Rachel Evers, also known as Rachel Ellering. She was hit by a drunk driver on her way home from the Performance Center. She took to social media and shared that her car had been hit by a drunk driver, but she's fine. It sounds worse than it really is. She's okay. And the passenger of her side vehicle was hit, and she was able to take pictures, not only of the car that struck her, but of the dude who was driving the car as well. You've got to check that out. It's pretty funny. Andrew Thompson, your boy, he's got a full write-up over on Fightful.com, and you got to take a moment to take a look at the picture of the guy that she posted. That takes a lot of guts to do. I'm not even sure I'd be able to do that. Go check that out. It's on Fightful.com if you've heard of that spot. Also, some big news. Road Dogg is reportedly now working full-time for NXT. I was going to say NXT UK for some reason, but no, just plain old vanilla NXT. This is a report that came out to us from Mike Johnson at PW Insider, saying that his official role has not been confirmed, but he's begun working at the Performance Center recently. As you all may remember earlier, I think it was in April, PW Insider had reported that Road Dogg had stepped down from his position as a lead writer on SmackDown, apparently getting angrier and more frustrated with the changes that kept happening on SmackDown. And this seems like a case of Triple H looking out for his buddies and handing him a job. Well, I mean, but then again, it's not like handing him a job. Road Dogg he's been fantastic. He really has been. He had been doing some fantastic work with SmackDown, and he's a vet. He knows what he's doing. I'm sure he'll be a great fit with whatever they have him do at NXT. That'll definitely be interesting. So those couple of news, you can read the full that full report as well. Our friend Jeremy Lambert Jeremy Lambert has the full report on Fightful. I know I do the joke every time, and when I do the news reports, I actually look forward. I cross my fingers. I'm like, oh, hopefully Jeremy did something that regarding NXT or 205 Live that I can talk about, so I can do the joke with his name again. I can do that bit again because that won't get old. Let's move on, folks. Let's start. Let's go. Let's go. 205 Live. Jack Gallagher is backstage and he's looking at porn on his iPhone. No, he's not. He's looking at matches on his iPhone because we know it's not porn because we can hear the audio. He's watching a match of himself, which is fine. It's something wrestlers do. You know, you look over tapes. You take a look at what you did. You try to fix stuff. And Humberto Carrillo arrives next to him, you know, and this is it's a match that they recently had where they defeated the Bollywood boys, the Singh brothers, in a match. And, Jack says this was fantastic. It was a good, solid performance. But, I feel like we have unfinished business. Humberto. And Carrillo says, that's fine. Let's settle it tonight. And I'll be happy to beat you again. Shots fired. It's a respect thing. The ongoing feud between Mike Kanellis, Brian Kendrick, and Nakir Tozawa moves on, keeps going, as Brian Kendrick tonight faces off against Mike Kanellis in the opening match of 205 Live. Kendrick goes right after Kanellis. Kendrick goes in with some right hands, but Kanellis goes after him with a shoulder tackle. Quickly, though, Brian Kendrick gets the captain's hook in. Mike Kanellis escapes and rolls to the floor. Of course, Brian Kendrick follows him out. But Mike Kanellis has him hits a big boot, and he suplexes onto the barricade, which was pretty gnarly. We're back in the ring then, and Kanellis back in the ring. That's it. Mike Kanellis covers Brian Kendrick for 2. He grounds Brian Kendrick. Hits a suplex, covers Kendrick again, only gets 2. Hits a spine buster. Oh man, Mike Kanellis' spine busters. They're pretty. They're pretty. Arn Anderson would be proud. Covers but only gets 2. Some top rope shenanigans ensue that ends with Kendrick hitting the captain's hook after not on the top rope. He doesn't do it. There's shenanigans, just bounce around a lot. Then it ends with the captain's hook, but Kanellis reaches the ropes to break up the hold. He crawls towards the steel steps. Kendrick follows and suplexes him off the steps to the floor. Nice bump there, taken by your boys. Kendrick gets Kanellis back into the ring, covers him, only gets 2. He goes for sliced bread, but it's countered. But Brian Kendrick gets the captain's hook locked in once more. Mike is able to power out of it and hits a TKO. They start trading super kicks with each other. Kendrick hits sliced bread, covers Kanellis, but only gets 2. But this all comes to a screeching halt when Kanellis hits the Michinoku driver and his neckbreaker finisher. Spinning neckbreaker. That's that. It is kaput. Mike Kanellis wins a match on 205 Live. I'm sure you've heard the rumor. It's essentially a rumor. Maria Kanellis earlier this week saying that they had about 3 weeks. She and Mike had 3 weeks left on their contract. And upon hearing that news, people started reacting, and someone asked her, when does your contract expire exactly, or something like that? And she responded, well, she said our gym contracts expire in June. So I don't know if she's just trolling or if there's really 3 weeks. But I can tell you one thing: 205 Live is not doing the wonders for Mike Kanellis' career that it did for the likes of, let's say, Buddy Murphy, was squandered, who was being misused. Kanellis is it's not working out as well for him, which is too bad, because he's a talented guy and he's a good guy and he's worked hard to maintain his job throughout his struggles with alcoholism. Only wish the best for the guy. Maybe WWE is not the place for him. Drake Maverick is backstage and he's having a one-on-one meeting with the champ, Tony Nese. Then Akira Tozawa arrives. Tony Nese puts him over, says some nice things, and offers Akira Tozawa a title shot. Maverick says he'll think about it. Now, the only thing that I'm confused about, this is what I'm a little confused about, is why is Drake Maverick thinking about it? Because the match, the Fatal 5-Way that they had last week, wasn't it to determine the number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship? I don't know why there's some ambiguity here. Akira Tozawa, I thought he was the number one contender last week. Seems to me that was the stip. I don't know why it's like, let me consider this. I don't understand. I don't get it. Daivari is being checked on by medical personnel who says he's got 6 stitches in his ear thanks to Oni Lorcan. And he wants revenge on Oni Lorcan. He called himself Dinero Daivari. I can get behind that. I like that. Noam Dar faced Mike Karma. They fought in a it's an exhibition match. It's a showcase match for Noam Dar. There's nothing much here. Noam Dar is in full heel mode. Karma offers his hand, but he to shake. He doesn't like offer his hand, like pop it off. No, he offers to shake his hand, but Dar doesn't want anything to do with it. Look, it is what it is. It's a squash match. It ends with Dar hitting the Nova Roller for the win. This is fine. Post-match, Dar basically cuts a promo. He says, "How could I have been off track if I was never off the tracks in the first place," or something like that. And he insults Oklahoma because he's a heel. He's a Scottish heel. Backstage, we have Drake Maverick, who's chit-chatting. And then down the hallway, he sees R-Truth with the 24/7 title, and Drake Maverick goes after it. It's kind of weird when you think about it. It's an interesting dichotomy. When you consider that on 205 Live, Drake Maverick is the GM of the brand, and he's an effective GM at that. Let's underscore that. And then on Raw, or on the main roster brands, wherever he ends up, wild card, he's very much a joke character. So transferring some of that jokiness onto 205 Live, where he is an authority figure and he's treated much more seriously, it's kind of weird. Oni Lorcan also cuts a promo about owning up to losing last week, but it's all talk, because now we have Gentleman Jack Gallagher versus Humberto Carrillo to entertain us for a solid 15 to 20 minutes. They lock up to start, some back and forth between the two. And Gallagher tries to work Carrillo's arm, but it's just not working out for him, Gallagher counters out of everything that Gallagher is trying to land on him. He grunts the action, working arms. He even rolls up Gallagher for 2. Carrillo gets a takedown, but Gallagher quickly escapes from it. And some good, solid ground game follows. There's some shoulder lifts from this I thought was interesting, where Carrillo was trying to keep had Gallagher in a hold, and he was trying to pin his shoulders down. And instead of just doing these huge moves, trying to kick out and expend energy, he was just lifting an arm. The referee would count one, just lift his elbow, his shoulder, not an arm, an elbow. So this is an elbow war, and this is a shoulder. Jesus. Sometimes you just have to talk to yourself. You just have to be firm with yourself. So basically, yeah. So that's what's going on. So basically, I thought that was interesting. Basically, that Gallagher was just like lifting his shoulder instead of like doing the full kick out thing. Made sense. Don't want to expend too much energy. You're not necessarily in a terrible position. You just have to make sure you don't get pinned. This made sense to me. Gallagher then does the corner headstand, and Carrillo does the same. A bit of, if you can do it, I can do it too. But Jack Gallagher, he knows how to counter the headstand. He just goes and shakes the ropes, and Carrillo falls down. Gallagher actually grabs him and rolls him up for a cover, but only gets 2. Carrillo fights back with the lucha arm drag, a drop kick, but Gallagher fights back with some strong uppercuts. Carrillo then gets dumped to the outside. Gallagher follows, slams him into the barricade, gets him back into the ring. Gallagher lays the boots to him, and then goes for more ground game. And then he starts going for covers. He hits a snap suplex, covers Carrillo again, but only gets 2. Gallagher then hits a drop kick, covers Carrillo again, only gets 2. Carrillo then starts to fight back with some strikes, hits a big back body drop, twisting tope to the outside. The kick is avoided. The kick is avoided by Jack Gallagher, but the standing moonsault connects. However, Carrillo covers the gentleman, but only gets 2. Carrillo then follows with a hell of a disaster kick that gets fall, and then he covers Jack Gallagher. I'll get there, and Gallagher kicks out at 2. Some top rope shenanigans ensue that end with a super belly-to-belly suplex by Jack Gallagher, and Carrillo smartly rolls to the floor before Gallagher can get him into a pinning position. On the outside, Gallagher charges Carrillo, but Carrillo hip tosses him into the barricade. Now they're back on the apron. Carrillo hits an open palm strike, and then he hits a missile drop kick to Gallagher, who's on the apron, but Gallagher bumps into the ring. So instead of like falling off the apron and onto the floor, which would have made much more sense, he bumps back into the ring, which kind of looked silly. There's Carrillo does a handstand Japanese arm drag, which was really cool. Covers Gallagher, but only gets 2. Carrillo heads up top and goes for the moonsault, but man, oh man, does he ever get a mouthful of British feet when Gallagher lifts his legs, and that's all Carrillo needs. Just eats all the feet. Gallagher explodes then with some drop kicks, with a drop kick and a suicide dive. Back in, Carrillo rolls Gallagher up, but he only gets 2. They trade some more strikes. A jumping enziguri from Carrillo follows. Gallagher goes for a suplex, but it is reversed by Carrillo into a DDT, and a nice one at that. He goes up top for the twisting 450 splash, and that finishes Jack Gallagher off. Humberto Carrillo wins. The boys shake. They hug. Respect. Admiration. Excellent match. This was a lot of fun. You should go check that out. And that concludes our episode of 205 Live for the evening. Let's start talking about NXT, which started off with Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair. off the heels of their match a few months ago now. It's been a while, but they've always been just like at each other, right? They both have attitude problems. I don't know many people who have attitude problems. If I knew more people with attitude problems, I'd probably want to settle stuff up with a fight or something. This looks okay, right? I don't know why I was a bit worried. It didn't look okay. And of course, this all stems from that match that they had when Bianca Belair defeated Mia Yim by using her braid to get extra leverage from the rope, to make sure Mia Yim stayed in a small package, which I still think was a fantastic finish to that match. I was laughing. I thought it was fantastic. Very creative, good, just some good old absurd wrestling finishes. I can get behind that. Mia Yim is not wasting any time. She goes straight in with a drop kick, but Belair rope hangs her. Yim then takes Belair down and slaps her a few times on the back of the head, and Belair gets pissed. She gets all over Mia Yim, goes from some ground and pound. It's reversed by Yim. She does some ground and pound. These women are working strong style here. They're laying into each other. Lots of back and forth. Yim chop blocks Belair from the front, which always scares the bejeebus out of me because wouldn't want an accident there. She cannonballs Belair in the corner, covers her, but only gets 2. Yim starts hitting some big-ass kicks on Belair, but Belair blocks one of the kicks and reverses it with a big boot and covers Yim for 2. Double chicken wing submission happens by Belair that transitions into a full Nelson. Yim arm drags her way out of it, though, and does a rolling suplex pin. I guess I'm not quite sure what you'd call that. Someone asked Sean Ross Sapp, and he'll tell me. But Belair kicks out at 2, though. Belair then hits a stalling vertical suplex, and she squats as she has Yim in the air. Thought that was funny. Also impressive. I mean, that it takes, I couldn't do that. Squats or no squats. I just couldn't do that. But the squatting it took it to the next level for me. Belair starts taunting Yim, but Yim ties her up into a tarantula. The ref breaks it up, of course. Belair stomps Yim to stay in control, though. She does a double chicken wing lift, and it's reversed by Yim, who follows up with a series of near falls. A big forearm has Belair down on the mat from Belair. She tries to cover Yim a couple of times. She goes back to the chicken wing submission, but Yim escapes by dumping Belair to the outside. Belair runs back in and eats a belly-to-belly overhead suplex. Yim is so smooth. She really is. She fights back proper now with some strikes. She hits the code Yim, covers, but only gets 2. Soul Food connects, or Eat Defeat, whatever you want to call it. That connects too, but Belair, smart, she rolls out of the ring. Belair then starts going up the ramp. She's like, she's done with this. She doesn't want to nope, done with this match. But Yim goes up and drags her back. And as they get back to ringside, Belair lifts Yim up with the chicken wing lift and dumps her on the side of the apron. She gets back into the ring to get the 10 count, but Yim beats the ref, gets back in at 9. Belair starts to pummel her and hits a huge back body drop. Holy crap. She lifts Yim into a powerbomb position, but Yim sneaks out of there. And as she does, she grabs Bianca Belair's braid, yanks her in, and hits Protect Your Neck. And Mia Yim gets a big win on NXT TV. And honestly, I hope this feud is not finished yet. I love the way both of these women work with each other. I think it's fantastic. I want this to keep going. This is a lot of fun. And you look, they're starting to build they're starting to build new women, new contenders, new credible challenges for upcoming title holders. Makes sense. Kind of makes it. I don't want to get into predictions just yet. almost start to talk about it, but this was a fun match. Nice, solid action. Like I said, when these ladies were laying into each other, they were laying into each other. Good stuff right here, pal. Velveteen Dream has a tape promo, and he pulls out a selfie stick to cut it. He's doing it Tyler Breeze style. And he said the night Tyler Breeze went to main roster was the last time he ever got a standing ovation. There was a lot. You know, they make a lot of fun about Tyler Breeze going up to Maine. And, last week he was saying, if you can't cut it on Monday or Tuesdays, what makes you think you can cut it back here? But there was a lot of expectations that were put on Tyler Breeze because Tyler Breeze is fantastic. He really, really is. It's just one of those things. If you listen to the John Moxley interview on Talk is Jericho, well, you know how creative stuff can go, and how, if Vince McMahon just doesn't get something, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work for you. But I'm actually looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to all these matches. Look, I'm going to talk about TakeOver in a little bit. See, I want to talk about TakeOver 25. Can we just do that now? No, Warren. Talk about the matches first. Follow your format. Okay. Last week we get a refresher of Candice LeRae, who fights off the horsewomen until Io Shirai runs in and smacks the bejeebus out of everyone with the kendo stick. And Shayna says she's backstage and basically tells Io that the numbers game is on her side. Io's out of friends. She has no more friends. Next, we had what is generally referred to, ladies and gentlemen, as a mat classic between two top-tier grapplers, Kushida versus Drew Gulak. When this was teased a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago now, I got really, really excited. I am so happy that this match happened. Didn't realize I wanted it until I saw it, until WWE offered it up to me on a silver platter. We got it tonight. Boys and girls, this was, as they say in the business, good shit, pal. Great mat game from Gulak and Kushida to begin. Kushida reverses out pretty much of everything Gulak has to offer. Some nice chain wrestling follows. Kushida rolls through an arm lock. They get into a knuckle lock, but Drew pushes him down. Kushida bridges himself to avoid getting his shoulders pinned, and Gulak tries to press his knee onto Kushida's abdomen as he's holding the bridge, but apparently Kushida's too strong. He can't do it. Kushida tries to power out of the bridge position, which is it was really impressive. But Gulak reverses it into a single leg crab. And Kushida ends up on his back. He's in a spider guard now. He goes for a triangle, but he can't exactly get it in. Gulak hits the ropes before anything ridiculous ensues. Kushida hits a crossface on Drew Gulak and then transitions into a headlock. Drew tries to counter out of it, but Kushida locks in an octopus instead. God damn. Gulak powers his way out of it and gets an Indian deathlock in for good measure. The block hip tosses over and over and over, and Kushida finally finishes by rope hanging Gulak over the top rope. Gulak then lifts Kushida into a fireman's carry position and drops him over his knee in a gut buster, which is which is pretty much the biggest power move you'll see of this in this match here. Gulak ties him up, goes for some joint manipulation, but Kushida gets Gulak into a seated stretch, but Gulak just shoves his way out of it. I thought that was fantastic. I was like, no, screw this. That was great. Gulak runs the ropes. Kushida's waiting for him with a Japanese arm drag, and which he transitions into an arm bar. Your boy Kushida did that. That was cool shit. Gulak resists, but he gets back into the arm bar. But Gulak transitions into an ankle lock. Kushida gets out of that, hits an enziguri, and eventually both guys hammer lock the same arm, and they try to put pressure on each other. It's like, this is my hold. No, this is my hold. No, this is my hold. No, this is my hold. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. But Kushida gets the upper hand when he hits a flatliner out of nowhere. I guess that's a power move there as well. And he slides over and into a bridging pinfall predicament, gets the win on Drew Gulak, and Drew Gulak is mad. Drew Gulak is mad. He calls Kushida a coward. And what I love, what I loved about, look, this match was fantastic, right? Let's just get that out of the way. This was fun, very, and it was nice to see Kushida have the opportunity to showcase his ground game, and who better opponent to do it with or against, depending on your point of view, than Drew Gulak. That was some fantastic stuff. And what I liked about this match here is that it did establish the fact that both of these guys were on the same level. Like they were evenly matched. And it's just Kushida was able to sneak in. He was just the better man tonight. Drew Gulak, of course, being the arrogant son of a bitch that we all know and love, he just doesn't he didn't appreciate that at all, and he doesn't want any of that. Doesn't want to feel like he's been upstaged because he's the man technician. So that's why he got angry at the end. And quite honestly, if they want to keep fighting each other, I say go ahead, give us more. Io Shirai says that she's backstage in an interview. She says she's not afraid of Shayna or her friends, but then Candice LeRae walks in and tells Io Shirai that she has Io's back. That's good. And friendship. I had people on Twitter talking about, oh, Candice is going to turn on Io. Come on. No. Nope. They need we're babyface Candice. What are you talking about? Heel. No. We get a video package for Gargano Cole 2 as well. And that leads us into our main event. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, my boys, 1 and 2, versus the Forgotten Sons, not my boys. This has been brewing for weeks, folks. Of course. Forgotten Sons and Lorcan and Burch have been out for each other. Burch hits a drop kick on Blake. Explosive beginning from Danny Burch as per usual, focusing on Blake's left arm, but he eats a double axe handle by Cutler as Blake launches him into him. There's a double team that follows, covers, and gets 2. Lorcan then gets in. European uppercuts follow. Riker trips up Lorcan, and Blake lariats the hell out of Oney. But the referee kind of expected Riker, and Riker gets tossed out of the match. And as Riker is going up the aisle at the very top of the stage, the Street Profits land in and they beat him up. And then they run down the ramp and they hit the ring and they start beating everyone up, and there's a brawl. The Sons of Anarchy get tossed down, and then Lorcan and Birch and the Prophets go at it. Then Cutler and Blake come back in with chairs. They clear everyone out because they're heels, right? You got to remember. Riker starts to get back in shape and stand back up, but the lads arrive. The Era, no, not Red Dragon, Strong and Cole do, and they toss Riker. And as the Forgotten Sons exit the ring to come and help their stablemate, that's when Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish blindside them and they get attacked. And the Undisputed Era at the end of this, they stand tall. They even pull out a ladder, and they just use it as a battering ram on Jackson Riker. And they just kill the guy. They put the ladder over him, and the Undisputed Era are on the ladder. Adam Cole calls out Gargano and Riddle as well. And I hadn't realized until this moment that the entire Undisputed Era is involved in TakeOver 25 this coming Saturday. You have Adam Cole facing Johnny Gargano for the NXT title. You have O'Reilly and Fish for the vacant NXT titles, and then you have Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong. I honestly, there's honestly no way that there's honestly no way that Undisputed Era is at least not getting a victory. Well, why don't we talk about it real quick before we move on to NXT UK here? Quick predictions, rapid fire. Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. We're just talking about it here. I think the Riddle train keeps going here, but I'll be damned if this is not going to be a barn burner, because I think a lot of us have forgotten how great Roderick Strong is as a singles guy because of the fantastic 2018 he had with Kyle O'Reilly while he subbed for Bobby Fish. It's going to be fantastic. This is going to be such a great match. Dream versus Breeze. So I think Matt Riddle is going to win here. Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze. I'd like to say I'm going to go with Velveteen Dream because I think there's still lots of I think there's still money in him having the North American title. But what if there have been main roster guys who have been sent back to the NXTs recently. And there's some that I don't want to talk about because it goes into spoiler territory. But why would look, if Tyler Breeze, if they don't have anything to do with him on Raw, I think it's fine to send him back into NXT. He'll, no one will see it as a defeat. Everyone will just be happy to see Tyler Breeze. No one will see it as he ruining his career. Why not give him the North American title then if he's going to stick around? I'd be okay with that. Give us a bit more of an extended Dream Breeze feud. As far as the Fatal 4-Way, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era versus the Forgotten Sons. Look, I love Loney Orkin. I say this once every show, don't I? I mess it up once every show. Oh, I love Lorcan and Birch. I really, really do. But I honestly think that the Street Profits are your guys. They've been booked so weird going into the Dusty Classic, and then even after the Dusty Classic, and then they're sort of established as credible threats for the War Raiders or the Viking Experience, or whatever the hell they're called. They're not even on Raw anymore. We don't even see them on Raw anymore. So whatever. I really think that it's time to put the belts on the Street Profits. They have improved tremendously. Montez Ford is a premium talent, premium sports entertainer. Plus, they're over like hell. This should be a fun match as well. Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai. I am going to go and say that Io Shirai is going to pick the belt off of Shayna Baszler, and which will instantly generate the Shayna Baszler is going to Maine. I hope not. I actually hope Shayna Baszler sticks around a little more and then gets the title back off of Shirai again. Or better yet, just have Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae fight each other just because they don't like each other, and let Candice be the independent circuit Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae is tougher than you, Candice LeRae. And that they'll have some fantastic matches. And then why not even elevate the legend of Shayna Baszler even more by making her a 3-time NXT Women's Title down the road, champion down the road. So more Shayna for your buck going forward, but I think Io is going to retain here. And Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. Again, this kind of depends where they want to go, but I don't see. Look, I don't think it's Tyler. I don't think Roderick Strong is winning. Don't think the Undisputed Era, Red Dragon, are winning. So, Adam Cole pulling off the shocker, winning the title. I'd be down for that. I think the Undisputed Era needs this. I think Adam Cole needs this. I think it'll be good to have very, very strong heels. And that's how you build your heels. It doesn't have to be a clean win. Shouldn't be a clean win either, because Johnny Gargano has to continue being the penultimate babyface. I'm good with that. Speaking of something else I'm good with, this episode of NXT UK, especially for one match in particular. Ooh la 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 la. Not a lot of matches, but some good wrestling in one of them. NXT UK begins with Ringkampf 2.0 coming out. Walter, Marcel Bartel, and Fabian Aichner. They try cutting a promo, but the audience is hostile. They chant for Pete Dunne as well. Bartel says, "We are here to lead you to a better NXT UK." Uh-oh, someone tell Drew Gulak he's being upstaged here. They want to restore honor and professionalism to our sport. Fabian Aichner says that Pete Dunne can only get you so far, and British strong style has expired. Walter then says that to us, this man is sacred, and from this day forth, we shall be known as Imperium. Imperium. Look, you see these three guys together, they are a good-looking, well, when I mean good-looking, not necessarily handsome, not in that sense, but they look good together. They look like a strong, credible stable of dudes who will just beat the shit out of you at any given moment. I like this. I like the three of these guys together. But Dunn interrupts the proceedings, and he comes out with his British strong style pals, Tyler Bate. Jesus. Warren. Focus. Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. And they all start fighting each other in the ring, and then someone knocks down a cameraman, and then that apparently that one cameraman held the entire feed for the show, because we lose the feed, the picture blinks out, it glitches, the camera's on the side. This So I'm wondering, as the camera is on the mat and we're losing the feed to this not live show, by the way, I'm wondering what the cameraman on the other side of the ring is filming. And maybe his camera's not plugged in. Maybe that guy's just being ribbed. Maybe it's like let's give Steve a camera that doesn't work, and we'll tell him that he gotta go get the shot of har. And this is where the prank gets exposed for Steve. Then he goes back to the production truck. Says, what the hell, guys? Maybe I'm reading a little too much into this. Rudzi is backstage with the assistant to the general manager, Johnny Saint, Sid Scala. He wants to get some commentary, and Sid says, I've spoken to Johnny Saint, and next week, in 2 weeks, it will be Imperium versus Bruce Strong Style in a 6-man tag team match. And I've been counting the number of words, right, that Johnny Saint has been uttering since the beginning of 2019, and there hasn't been all that many. But now I'm actually kind of worried. I honestly think at this point, because we haven't seen Johnny Saint, I'm getting worried. I think Sid Scala has Johnny Saint locked up in his basement. I think he feeds him, daily portions of oatmeal, some water, tosses him an old issue of Mary Claire from 1985 and onward so that he can read. I think Sid Scala he's drunk with power. Wolfgang and Mark Coffey facing Carlos Romo and A-Kid. No, it's not. I'm not being facetious and trying to be reductive. That's his name, A-Kid. This was very much so a squash match here where Romo gets beat up by the Gallus boys to begin with. A-Kid comes in and hits a drop kick, but Coffee, not to close, but not really. Coffee chokeslams A-Kid. There's a side senton by Wolfgang that happens as well. This all comes to an end with the Enziguri power slam combo by the Gallus boys for the win. And we were still in Scotland for this one. So the Gallus boys were still very much over. Backstage, Zaya Brookside is getting interviewed about what Jazzy Gabert, that happened where she got beat up, and she's basically saying, Jazzy's she's just like Rhea Ripley. She's a bully. And apparently Isla Dawn now is some kind of wallflower, and she just stands around listening to other people's conversations until she feels she can interject herself into them. And then she comes and she hijacks the interview, and she says to Brookside, why don't we team up then to take on, Jimmy and Jimmy. What is wrong with me tonight? Ginny and Ginny and Jazzy. Ginny and Jazzy. I hadn't thought of that. That has a nice ring to it. Yeah, so Isla Dawn, was just chomping at the bit and was looking for an opportunity to steal someone's shine here. Joseph Connors decides that it's a good idea to challenge Ilya Dragunov, and good for him. Next match of the night, Cassius Ono versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher. We have a double dose of Jack tonight. Jack in his two forms. Here we have him in his primo British style wrestling. This is so much fun. Such a good, fun match. Cassius Ono on NXT UK has been a gem, an absolute gem. Let's just jump right in. Cassius Ono stalls a bit to start off the proceedings, but they lock up, and Ono immediately takes Gallagher to the mat. Gallagher counters out, uses the ropes to break clean out of Ono's holds. Ono takes him down into a toe and ankle hold, but again, Gallagher escapes. He goes quickly after Ono, who hits the ropes, and we have to reset here. Gallagher takes the opportunity to taunt the genius of the ring, It's such a good gimmick for Ono. And the thing is that he legitimately is a very knowledgeable wrestler. He's got a brain for wrestling like no one else. He knows his history, but he's just a dick. He's just a jerk. It works so well. Ono takes Gallagher down back into the toe and ankle hold, and he starts working his left arm. Gallagher counters out of it to a big rouse from the crowd, and then gets Ono into a head scissors, but he escapes himself. There's some one-upsmanship here, but there's no respect. Ono doesn't respect anyone. Gallagher works for a takedown, but Ono counters and locks in a full Nelson. Gallagher escapes with some locks and some reversals. They go for a knuckle lock, but Ono overpowers Gallagher, who counters out again and does a corner headstand. He then bounces off the ropes into a ball, into kind of like a paradise lock, but Ono just lays the boots to him. Follows with some strikes, some diving elbows. Plants a fist right in the middle of Jack Gallagher's face, and Jack Gallagher is busted open, you kids. He goes for the cover, but Jack grabs the bottom rope. Ono goes after Gallagher's left knee. Gallagher eventually gets a full mount and starts on Ono and just starts driving elbows right onto Cassius with the blood streaming from his face. You swear you were in an MMA fight right here, which, of course, as you may or may not know, Jack Gallagher has an MMA fighting background, so it all works. It's all connected. Ono lays him out with a big boot, covers him, but only gets two. Gallagher hits a headbutt, a drop kick. He rolls into an armbar on Cassius Ono, transitions into a triangle, but Ono powers up. And but he powers up. He deadlifts basically Jack Gallagher, but Gallagher escapes, headbutts Ono again. But Ono hits a senton. It trades some strikes, some chops. Ono this time hits a headbutt himself. Hits his rolling elbow, the Dream Crusher. That was the name he had given it just before he took on Matt Riddle months ago. But they've stopped calling it the Dream Crusher. Anyway, he hits his rolling elbow, and man, does it look severe. Covers Jack Gallagher and gets the 3 count. However, Gallagher's leg is clearly under the bottom rope, which the referee did not see and should have not pinned. You can't have your legs. All of your body parts have to be within the confines of the ropes. So I don't think that we're done with this little feud, and that's okay, because this is a feud I can get behind. This is actually something, you give these guys 5 to 6 more minutes, you put this on the next NXT UK takeover, you've got yourself a classic in the making here. Like I said, look, Jack Gallagher is unquestionably one of the most low-key, fantastic workers in WWE. And so is Cassius Ono. Cassius Ono is a total package kind of wrestler. He's fantastic. And he's been so good since he's been sent to NXT UK. I'm enjoying this. Piper Niven cuts a promo on Rhea Ripley. Then next week, we're having the Fatal 4-Way to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT UK title. We had all the qualifiers. We're all done with it. It's Travis Banks, Joe Coffey, Dave Mastiff, and my boy, Jordan Devlin, who will not be my pick for this match here, but he is still, nonetheless, my boy. Main event time, Toni Storm, NXT UK Women's Champion versus Nina Samuels. Commentary is giving us the hard sell tonight to make us feel like this is a personal grudge feud, a blood feud, that there's a real legit grudge, because Nina Samuels one time 3 to 4 weeks ago said that Toni Storm had left her mother behind to pursue wrestling. and this is like the most personal thing. Don't buy it. This was a hard sell on the personal aspect of this feud. There's a lot of testing out between the ladies to start. Cartwheel reversals from Samuels a couple of times that ends up with Storm just giving her a boot. That drives her to the outside. She gets back in. Toni Storm hits a basement drop kick, covers Samuels, but only gets 2. Three uppercuts ring ya girl Nina. She falls on her back, so Toni Time covers, but only gets 2. Nina fights back, some ground and pound. She stomps Toni Storm, hits a drop kick, covers Storm, but only gets 2. Samuels grounds some things, then slaps Storm around and chokes her out. Hit a neck snap follows. She covers Storm, but only gets 2. Storm fires back, though. However, she gets tripped into the turnbuckle. Knees to the back from Samuels follow. She covers, but only gets 2. Some more strikes by Samuels, but Storm fights back and hits a release German. Enziguri follows, goes for Storm 0, which is countered, but Storm still manages to lock in an STF. Nina Samuels has to make the ropes to break this one up. They trade some strikes on the apron, and Nina hits a big head kick. And he slingshot corkscrew splash, covers Storm, but only gets 2. She hits a backbreaker, sets Toni up for the Nina Garoshi, but it's countered with a headbutt. Storm follows with a German suplex into a bridge for 2. Nina kicks out at 2. Nina then fights back herself with a double underhook backbreaker. She covers Storm, who kicks out at 2.9. Top rope shenanigans ensue. It ends with Nina Samuels hitting a missile drop kick and covers Storm, but only gets 2. But Toni Storm hits a headbutt, 2 rolling suplexes, and the Storm 0 to finish it all. This was, to be perfectly transparent with everyone, a little disappointing. Nina Samuels, Nina Samuels is fantastic. This is not what we saw tonight on NXT UK is not the Nina Samuels that I know, that I've seen wrestle. She's fantastic. She can go much harder than this. I don't know if this is how the match was produced, but this kind of felt like this was a throwaway defense for Storm, and it should not have been treated as such. Nina Samuels is such a top-tier talent. She is so good. She's so talented. This should have been a major feud. This should have been something that that Storm and Samuels could have really sunk their teeth into. And to be quite frank with y'all, Storm's tenure right now as NXT UK has been okay. NXT UK Women's Champion has been okay. Like it's been fine, but she hasn't had anything to really sink her teeth into. She had her match with Ginny, which was great, but the feud itself was very, build-up was very, and I feel they're missing the mark with Nina Samuels, and I don't know why they're having Toni go through Ginny and Nina Samuels so fast. Is it because they want to establish Jazzy Gabert as a credible champion because she's so big? Don't have to be that big to have great matches or be established as a credible challenger either. I don't know. I was disappointed in this match. I did, and it's a championship match. I don't know why the pace was what it was. It wasn't terrible. But I mean, if you're wrestling for a championship, well, isn't there needs to be some sort of urgency, some sort of especially by the challenger. This is driven by the challenger, where he's like, look, I have to do everything that I can to put the champion away, and it just felt like another match. Didn't care for it. And well, look, I'm going to wrap it up here because it's just about time to listen. NXT UK tonight. If you want to watch it, you want to watch Cassius versus Jack Gallagher, because there really wasn't much anything else unless you want to see Walter's new stable Imperium. You have got to lay your peepers on Kushida versus Drew Gulak as well from NXT, and on 205, and the women, and Yemen Belair was a lot of fun as well. And then on 205 Live, Carrillo versus Jack Gallagher. Now Gallagher just has to get some wins. That's all we need. You know what else we need? For this podcast to come to an end, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Thank you very much once again for your support of Fightful Select and everything that we do here at Fightful. By being a member, it helps us tremendously. Hope you're taking the time to enjoy all the great content that we offer up here. It's always a good time to do it. We hope you enjoy it. We're glad if you do, and we're thrilled to have you here as members. I'm Mr. Warren Hayes. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes. And I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, if you want to go check that out. Thank you again, everyone. We'll see you next time.